It's a very simple question. If you think Gunnar Stockton is actually good, that's fine. But I have a better question for you. How many draft picks are in this quarterback room for Georgia? I asked Daniel next. Locked on Bulldogs.
You are Locked on Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. He is Clint. I am Daniel. Today's episode brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. More on them at monarchmoney.com. More on them in a moment. Clint teased it. We're talking about the quarterback room today. Yeah. I'm going to ask Clint a question about going 8-4 today. Oh. So things are going to get real in a lot of ways. We're going to go a lot of different directions. Buckle up is what I'm trying to say. Thanks for being an everydayer. If you're a part of the everyday crew that make this podcast go, we appreciate you. If you're a first listener, meaning you make us your first listen of the day every day, we appreciate you. And of course, if you're part of the 199, a loyal third segment listener, then you are the best. It's almost football season. Yeah, Clint and I are in full on season mode, and excited to record another episode and talk through all these things. So, Clint, let's not bury the lead any further. You want to talk about Gunnar Stockton, but it seems as though you want to talk about more than just Gunnar Stockton. Is that correct?
Here's the deal. I hate reading these articles talking about how Ryan Puglisi has an outside shot of being the starting quarterback for Georgia come.
Oh, you mean the clickbait?
I hate the clickbait.
Yeah.
I know it's fall camp. I get you have to write something, and you have to write 5 points, 5 big observations. I get it. I understand. Don't make that one of your 5.
Yeah. Please. Come up with another observation is all we're asking you to do. You got a job to do. You got to do your job. We get it.
Gunnar Stockton's a dang good quarterback. Sure. Daniel has said that he's going to wind up being one of the 6 best players for Georgia by the end of the year. That's not that he wishes him to be. That's he believes he will be.
Correct.
And I don't hate it because I think he will be in the top 7. I just have him right outside my top 6. I think he will ascend with his skill set and what he has. But it got me thinking, because everybody's talking about how bad Gunnar Stockton is on the whole in the SEC and how good Ryan Puglisi might be. We both think they're good athletes. We both think they're good players. We got Montgomery. And I'm including Curtis is in on this quarterback room. I listed 4 quarterbacks that we have, not to mention a couple of the guys that are wild cards at this point.
You're including Curtis in the quarterback room, even though he is
I know
he's very much not on the team.
He's not on the team. He's not on campus. Yeah, I am including him.
Okay.
Now, the question I have for you is your love of Gunnar Stockton, love of appreciation for what Ryan Puglisi might be. How many draftable quarterbacks are in this UGA room, including Curtis, today? I'm not talking about project. I'm not talking about walk-on. I'm talking about using draft capital. Not talking about Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
I'm talking about draftable quarterbacks are legitimate options for a competitive football team in the NFL. How many draftable quarterbacks does UGA have on its roster right now?
Okay. It is, let me start here. It's hard to get drafted into the NFL. Like, that's not an easy thing to do. We're not talking about, like, if you're a pretty good player, you get drafted into the NFL. If you're a contributor on your team, you get drafted into the NFL. Now, that being said, quarterback might be the easiest position to get drafted into the NFL.
Yes, it is.
Here's a prediction. if Carson Beck had gone to the NFL last year, he would have been drafted. We poke a lot of fun.
He would have been drafted.
We do. We poke at Carson Beck, but he will be drafted after this year into the NFL. Every quarterback who starts a full season at Georgia from here on out will be drafted into the NFL.
Interesting.
With maybe 1 or 2 exceptions in the next 10 years.
That's wild.
But,
that's wild.
So, last year, there were 13 quarterbacks drafted into the NFL. There have been at least 10 quarterbacks, except 2022. There was only 9. But there have been at least 10 quarterbacks drafted into the NFL every year in the last 10 years. There are a lot of quarterbacks taken in the draft. Double digits, 11, 12, 13, sometimes as many as 14 quarterbacks drafted in one single year. Georgia's always going to be among the top of college football. And so, yes, you're always going to have your Cam Wards.
Sure.
You're always going to have your quarterbacks who play for lesser teams but put up crazy numbers and really perform well. But listen, from here on out, if you lead Georgia, you're going to the NFL. That might be as a 4th round, 5th round, 6th round pick. But Stetson Bennett went to the NFL.
Yeah.
He didn't have any of the measurables. He didn't have any of the things that typically NFL scouts and GMs look for. And so I think the question you're asking me is, of the 4 quarterbacks that you mentioned, how many of them are going to start and play a full season? Well, I know one of them is, because despite what the clickbait article said, Gunnar Stockton is going to be the quarterback of the Georgia Bulldogs this season. He's going to lead them to the SEC championship game. And therefore, when the time comes, he's going to be drafted into the NFL. Georgia might have some quarterbacks in this room drafted to the NFL, but they don't play at Georgia.
I had a follow-up question ready and primed for if you took this avenue.
But I'm going to say that of the quarterbacks in the room right now, and you're counting Curtis.
I'm counting Curtis. For the sake of this question,
only 2 of them are going to be the leader of the Georgia Bulldogs football team. And so only 2 of them from Georgia are going to get drafted. Now, Puglisi and Montgomery, who, by the way, are the 2 that I don't think are ever going to be the starting quarterback at Georgia.
He's come over to my side, people. He's coming over to my side.
I think they've got a shot to get drafted depending on how things go and where they transfer.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not wishing this to be the case. I wish that the best quarterback would win the job and that the best quarterback would play, no matter who that is, no matter what year that is. But I suspect, based on all the evidence they have right now, that it's going to be those 2. If I had to say at the end of the day, I think there's probably only 2 quarterbacks that make it to the NFL.
I do as well. I think if you look at the transfer history from Georgia, there's going to be quarterbacks that hit the portal. 2 are going to hit the portal next year, is my belief. Daniel still thinks Gunnar Stockton's coming back for another season next season after this. I don't think
absolutely
he wavered on that. Yeah. I could see a case being made for that. I'm becoming more warm to that than not. I was thinking that Gunnar's going to go to the draft after this year, and I do think he will be drafted. And I think at which point Curtis will be taking over for him because the talent is there for that. I think he wins that job. Gunnar Stockton stays. I doubled down on that bet. I triple down on that bet that it's going to be the other 2 quarterbacks with not just draftable grades, but pretty good draftable grades. You can tell me Gunnar Stockton gets 2 years starting the SEC offense with Georgia. He's going to go in 3-4 round territory.
I don't know. Higher. He's the 11th best quarterback in the SEC, and there's only 16 of them. Have you thought about that?
Tell me just tell me without telling.
Kirby just makes this stuff up. Where does he even get this? Where does he even get this narrative? He's just making stuff up live.
I don't know. The coaches took Penn State, and they put them ahead of Georgia in the coaches poll when they lost the best draft prospect they've had in a hot minute. And they bring back the same terrible players and they lose another, and they couldn't win last year. But sure, let's put Penn State ahead of Georgia. That makes sense.
Sure thing.
We're going to come back after this. Daniel's going to ask me a question about this Georgia offense or defense, this team for 2025 coming up. But first, these. These are, in fact, Monarch Money. Daniel, I hate losing track of my money.
Yeah,
it's infuriating. I feel like an idiot whenever I go to the bank and I say, hey, I want money. And they say, guess what? You don't have money. I go, well, that sucks. I could have easily avoided this had I tracked it, gone on with goals.
Had online banking. Sorry. No,
Monarch Money is the one that builds the wealth for me, Daniel.
Yeah.
You know what's incredible? As I'm tracking my spending on Monarch Money, I'm finding out just how often I'm having habits that are sucking dry all my accounts. And habits are easy to stop once you are aware of them and to build new habits to gain wealth and continue to increase. And that's what Monarch Money does. It's easy to use app. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. 50% off your first order. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year.
Quick caveat, just a housekeeping note. Clint accidentally said habits. He meant to say children in that last ad read, but I think you got the gist of the idea that he was getting at. It's just a slip of the tongue. It just, we're not perfect people, so you get what you get.
Sometimes there's natural consequences in life, people.
That is accurate. Here's the question that I have for you, and it's spurred on by another question that I heard answered on another show. I will give credit to the show at this point because we don't like to badmouth other shows, but when I hear something that's good, we like to give credit to
Brendan Walker. We do enjoy badmouthing. That I have no problem with that one.
Well, that is true.
Okay, but who are you giving credit to today?
Listen to the Solid Verbal College Football Podcast. A great show, and they had Josh Pate on as a guest, and so two great podcasts coming together. I thought, sure, I'll give this a listen. And to be clear, the theme of the episode was they're giving hot takes. Okay, so I'm not
okay,
but the way that this was presented from Josh Pate was not as a hot take. It was, this will happen this year.
Yes.
Okay. And here's what it was. He said one of these four schools, LSU, Alabama, Texas, or Georgia, is going to go 8-4 this year. And he wouldn't be surprised if they went 7-5. That was what was said.
Yep.
So, Clint.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of those other schools. They can do whatever they want.
You have fun playing in your sandbox.
Do whatever they want. I'm going to ask you, on a scale of 0% to 100%, what are the chances that your University of Georgia Bulldogs go 8-4 this year?
Ladies and gentlemen,
people are waiting with bated breath for you to say 0, Clint. They need you to say 0%, like they need air to breathe.
I understand, because what we mean by 0%, and we say, hey, there's not a chance. I can't say 0%. Daniel, I can't do it. It's impossible for me to. The reason it's impossible for me to is because had you asked me this 4 years ago, it would have been 0. Not just because of the team, because again, at that point, we didn't know that team. There were a lot of doubters of that team, 2021 and 2022, before the season, if y'all remember. Again, who's the quarterback? Wasn't even Stetson Bennett. I mean, just the number of things, the defense, the no-name defense that nobody understood really and completely.
If you had asked me at halftime of game 1 of that year, I would have probably said there's like a 75% chance we go 8-4.
Okay. So it can't be 0. But I am going to do some very easy metrics right now for you. Okay. The easiest metric is that since Kirby Smart has taken over as coach of Georgia, the most losses we have had in one season is 5 losses his first year.
Yeah.
We were 8-5 to end the season. Since that time, 2020, 2 losses. And then last year, 3 losses. The biggest end of the year loss to Notre Dame in the quarterfinal Sugar Bowl game. Kirby Smart does not take 4 losses on a season, save for his first season at Georgia.
Yeah. And I'm not even talking about 9-4 with a loss in the bowl game, like 9-3 regular season
we're talking,
loss in the bowl game. We're talking about 8-4 in the regular season.
It's not 0%. But ladies and gentlemen, fear not, because it might only be like 5 to 10% of a chance that we go 8-4 this year. And here's the only reason that I'm saying that. The most talented top 5 in recruiting classes since Kirby's been here, period. The best coach in America, period. Hard schedule, sure. Losable games, all day long. If you're telling me we take 2 L's and those 2 L's could be against Georgia Tech and Tennessee, but we win the rest, I might say, yeah, that could be the case. Or the 2 losses were only to Texas and Alabama. I could say that. I don't see us going 8-4 regular season because we have the talent and we have Kirby. And those 2 things in college football run most games. Now, you add on top of that the schedule that is not easier, but is at home. Okay, that helps me. You talk about the infusion of talent at 2 of the weakest positions we had last year. That helps me a great deal. Understand this. And then you tell me the competition that we face on the other side, what they're reloading at, and it helps me. I think the SEC is wide open. I think we're going to cannibalize each other this year. I think the SEC is going to walk into the playoffs with a whole lot of national narrative looking down on us and hating us. Those are all true things. But Daniel, it is the best head coach in America with a top 4 to 3, depending on the second to third best talent composition roster in America. The best head coach, the best defensive coach, and he's got a revenge tour coming. Daniel, 10% is what I'm saying, and I'm not moving off of that.
Here's the reason that I have some confidence. Because there are moments this offseason where I think 8-4 is real. Like, it's a real possibility. Like, there are moments, if you think about this team a certain way.
Not just possible, inevitable. You and I.
Yeah. If you think about this team a certain way, it's like a woman who's, you go on one date with her, she's very attractive. You go on the next date, she's not attractive at all. A two-face, if you will.
If you will.
If you look at this Georgia team a certain way, in a certain light, there's a lot of 8-4 in it. There is. And if you're like anyone who's going to like beat their chest and yell at me because of that, that's fine. If I say this Georgia team is going to go 11-1, 12-0, there's a bunch of people that are going to beat their chest and they're going to yell at me about that. The reality is, you don't know what this Georgia team is going to be. You don't know, Clint. I don't know.
I don't.
None of the listeners know what this Georgia team is going to be this year. We are in some uncharted waters. Here's the reason that I'm confident.
Okay.
Here's the reason I'm confident that Georgia's not going to go 8-4. Because with the talent on the roster, as you said, there's only one way to go 8-4. Or 7-5 or something ridiculous like that. And that is if you quit. And we live in a world where quitting in college football is very real. Okay?
Very real.
You can make a lot of money betting on college football games in the last few weeks of the season based on which teams have quit. If I were to ask you to give me one coach in college football who you are most confident will not allow his team to quit.
There it is.
Is it Brian Kelly at LSU?
No.
Is it Kalen DeBoer at Alabama?
Hard no.
Is it Steve Sarkisian at Texas?
Nope.
Kirby Smart's not going to let this team quit.
Nope.
Period. So I don't think Georgia's going to go 8-4. But again, you don't really know who this Georgia team is. They may be way better than you think they are. And they may be way worse than you think they are. These are both very real possibilities. Clint's going to ask me one more question about this Georgia football team, but first these.
We're back with the 199, the little third segment listeners that are listening all the way through to the entire podcast.
Yeah.
If you're over on YouTube, get on the audio side. You're on the audio side, get over to YouTube. Check your boys out. Help us out. Again, season previews. In the coming weeks, we'll be doing touchdown draft where Dan and I go back and forth, selecting players we think will give us the most touchdowns of the year. The person who at the end of the year has the most touchdowns by the players they selected wins the bet. That's as easy as it is.
Yep.
We're going to do season win totals of a couple teams. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's an AAC team that you need to lock up season win total right now.
Okay.
Go back to the window a second time. We'll be doing that. And in season, we're here 6 times a week, ladies and gentlemen. 6 times a week. We'll be doing overreaction previews, news roundup, the whole thing. Kirby pressers, giving you the Kirbinese, translating it for you because we are both fluent in it. So stick around. Daniel, here's my
By the way, shout out to our friend Joy Foster, secpretty.com. Get over there and get you a hat.
Joy, the mini muffins have been mailed 3 times now.
I don't know.
3 times. And
the mailman's doing Clint wrong.
He is doing me wrongs.
secpretty.com. Buy one for your wife.
Or for a pretty little girl. You're just a pretty little girl, Daniel.
Or buy one for yourself because this thing slaps. I apologize to no one. I'm SEC Pretty, Clint. I don't know if you know, but there's Pretty and then there's SEC Pretty. And your boy, he knows which one he is. Okay. Okay.
You know, mama did raise you to have some confidence. If I know anything. All right.
Listen. All right. Where you got? Where are we going to go with the 199 here?
Daniel, you gave me a couple of very interesting watch list 2025, right?
Sure. Yes.
Earlier in the week. And we walked through and we said, who are these people that we'll be looking at? Who are the players that are on these watch lists that are stupid and bad and pathetic? And then there are others who are dead on. And a lot of the watch lists don't actually watch football. They just watch media. However, Daniel, the Doak Walker watch list came out.
Yep.
And to no one's surprise, Nate Frazier is on this list because he's a very talented running back, one of the best running backs in the nation.
Well, there you go. That's why he would be on the list then, I think.
But also a transfer that is dealing with some injury right now in camp. That is illness, I should say, not injury, illness that's keeping him sidelined.
Please specify that because those are very different things.
Very different. McCray makes the list as well, Daniel. Not only Nate Frazier, McCray makes the Doak watch list for best running back in the nation. Now, I think many people may have dismissed us, Daniel.
Yes. Go on.
Saying the 1-2 punch that Georgia has clear cut in this running attack. Frazier, McCray, Frazier, McCray. And it's a beautiful one. And we talked about McCray coming in his freshman year at Illinois. And when he was a senior, he dealt with injuries his sophomore and junior year, but essentially the same. He bursted on the scene freshman year in a very, 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 very tough defensively minded conference. Daniel, what percentage do you give McCray to becoming a better running back this year than Nate Frazier, a more productive running back than Nate Frazier? What percentage chance do you give that from happening?
I'm going to answer not the question that you're asking. I'm going to a question just adjacent to it because I think it will better communicate how I feel about the question that you're asking.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure everybody knows Daniel has rejected me and said,
No, it's
I'm not-
very adjacent question,
okay,
but I'm just going to take a very significant caveat out of it.
okay,
Okay.
sure.
In a year where both running backs are healthy for the entire season, 0% chance.
Wow.
0.
Wow.
So there is definitely a chance that Josh McCray is better for Georgia and more productive for Georgia this year.
Okay.
And it is exactly the chance that Nate Frazier misses significant time this year and Josh McCray doesn't, which of course is a non-zero chance that Nate Frazier would miss time. Running back is a position where you're going to get nicked up, you're going to get dinged up, you're going to get banged. So of course there's a chance that Nate Frazier misses time. And in that case, then yes, of course, Josh McCray would be more productive than him. But if you eliminate injuries from the mix, which I think gets at the heart of what you're asking, right? You're not asking for some for some weird,
I'm not looking
loophole.
for asterisks.
You're not looking for a loophole.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the answer to your real question is 0%. I think Nate Frazier is a better back. And I think Nate Frazier will be a better back. I think Nate Frazier will get the majority of the carries. And I think Nate Frazier will be more productive in his carries. I think Josh McCray being at Georgia will make Nate Frazier rush for more yards this year than Nate Frazier might have rushed for at Georgia this year without Josh McCray at Georgia, because I think he'll be fresh. I think he'll be healthy. And I think the 1-2 punch of these backs in the backfield cannot be overstated. Who was a more productive back for Georgia, Nick Chubb or Sony Michel? That doesn't mean that Sony Michel was not an incredibly valuable, incredibly talented back who had his moments and was really good and really important for Georgia. That, I think, is the kind of situation that we're looking at. Like, we're, more of a 1A and 1B, but definitely 1A and 1B.
Okay, then a follow-up to that.
Mm-hmm.
The over-under rushing yards for Nate Frazier has been posted. You can go bet on this if you'd like, Daniel.
I'd like to, right? I didn't know it had been posted, and I will.
I think I know where you're going on this bet, but 749.5 yards is what they've set the line at. Are you going over or under that for rushing yards for Nate Frazier this year, Daniel? To give you a little comparison, by the way, last year, 671, 8 touchdowns, 133 carries. That's what Frazier's stat line was last year. This year, over 750, let's call it. I know Vegas is going to get that half yard, but 750.
Could you send me the name of the site that I can go to? Clint.
Yeah.
This is all over all the time. He rushed for dang near 700 yards last year, and that was as RB2 on this team. I know ETN missed some time.
Sure.
But he was a true freshman coming into the season last year. He wasn't even trusted to be on the field the first 3 weeks of the season.
No.
He is the best back on the roster.
Okay.
And the presence of McCray is only going to help him. It is only going to keep him fresh. He might not hit 1,000. But 800, 850, these will be numbers that will be easily achievable for him. And I think he could go, I think he could go even higher for that.
That is wild. Daniel gives 0% that McCray is a better running back. Injury not included in that equation, which
here's a better comparison than Nick and Sony, because Nick and Sony is such a tired comparison for the Georgia running backs. How about DeAndre Swift and Elijah Holyfield?
Daniel, you took the words Elijah Holyfield. People forget. I know he wasn't successful in the NFL. I get it. I understand. While at Georgia, he took up a considerable chunk of running plays that allowed DeAndre Swift to become very, very.
Who was the better back in 2018? DeAndre Swift or Elijah Holyfield? Obviously, it was DeAndre Swift.
Correct.
But Elijah Holyfield was really good for Georgia. And I think that is what we could be looking at here. And I think also
I don't hate that.
The running styles and I like the comp more. Thunder and lightning. It's really more lightning and thunder. Lightning comes first, Clint. So it's 1A. He's the lightning. And then 1B comes right behind it. You have to count. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. And that's how you know how far away
you're going to get hit by it. It's a mile per second is what I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. We'll be back tomorrow talking about more dogs, gearing you up for the season. Come on back. Watch us. We'll see you guys then.
See ya.